South Africa is currently in the midst of a buyer's market, creating an opportunity for first-time home buyers to purchase property. For some of us who cannot afford to purchase property cash, it's actually the perfect time because even banks are offering a threshold of up to 100%, sometimes even 105%, covering even your transfer costs. So join me in this episode as I speak about my experience as a first-time home buyer when I was in my 20s.
Every time I see your face, I know I've come to the right place. And every time I see you smile.
After my internship, I was offered a permanent employment and I rented an apartment that was closer to the taxi rank and that was also closer to work. So since I was permanently employed, I thought to myself, I need to make something good come out of this. So I decided I have to buy a car or I have to buy a house, or not necessarily a house, but an apartment, because I don't think I could afford a house then. I remember when I had to move, my colleague who was helping me to move actually opened the outside door and she's like, we are outside already, because the apartment was too small. But then that's what I could afford. I was working in a different department that wasn't dealing with properties, so I was not informed about what one needs to do before they purchase property. So I started searching for information on the internet and making sure that I get the basics and understand. Regardless of searching for that information on the internet, I felt I still needed more advice and more help. So luckily my brother was in investments, so I had him holding my hand through the purchase of the property, which made it easy. I had already saved money for the deposit. At least I knew that you need to save money for the deposit. I saved money for the conveyancing fees and I saved money to register the property, and I had extra little money for things that might need fixing in that house that I'll be purchasing. Since I was still continuing with my studies then, I wanted to make sure it's not far from the universities, it's not far from malls for convenience. So we started looking around areas like Auckland Park, Braamfontein. So when I went for viewing, I wouldn't go alone. I'd always take someone with. So eventually I identified a property that I was interested on, and then we made an OTP, an offer to purchase. And on the offer to purchase, we had conditions like the bathroom wall was old, and even the shower door was falling off. So there were other things in the property, in the apartment, like the skirting and the cupboards, and some of the tiles needed to be fixed. And I went on and found quotations about how much it would cost me to fix those things. And when I made the offer that was 20,000 less, because it was going to cost me 20,000 to fix those things. So the seller then offered that she will fix the bathroom, and with the other things that I still needed to fix, I can go on and fix them on my own, but I will have to take my purchase price a bit low by 20,000, and she will fix the bathroom. So when I moved in, I had to repaint the apartment. I basically had to have the apartment renovated, but I had made room for that by offering less money so that I can have enough money to renovate the property. We applied for mortgage. The agent that I was working with was connected to mortgage originators who did a great job negotiating the best interest for me. It was also a good thing that I was also informed that you don't have to take the first bank, that you don't have to go with the first bank that offers you mortgage. You can still wait for the other banks and then sort of choose the one that is best. And you can still negotiate even for the interest rates, obviously based on your credit record. So if you have a good credit record, the lender is more likely to offer you better interest rate. Please refer to my previous videos about before you purchase property. So we signed the offer to purchase and we were very excited. The agent later communicated that the buyer had accepted my offer And now we are starting with the conveyancing of the property. I remember even walking to the conveyancer's office from my workplace to and from. Did I not regret? It was hot. And then back then, I was not even familiar with Uber, and public transport was not even passing where I was walking to. But hey, excitement had really got me, and I didn't even regret it. But hey, I must say it was hot. So my best lessons before purchasing the properties were that you can actually negotiate for the price of the property depending on the condition of the property. And secondly, you can also negotiate on the interest rates depending on your credit record. But there were certain things that I would have done differently. So in my mind, before I bought the property and before I started searching for information, I just thought that you pay the bank and then the bank pays for the levies. Trust me, that's what I thought. Then I later learned that actually you pay the bond, and then after paying the bond, you pay insurance for the property, and then after that you pay your levies, and then after that you still have to pay your rates and taxes depending on how big your property is. There were certain faults that I realized only after moving in. Sometime in my videos, I'll speak to you guys about footstool clause, which is a clause that says that you buy a property as it is. So there are certain things that the seller wouldn't be aware of, and when you come to view the property, you are also not aware of, and you have to take the property as it is. Because when I went to open my municipal account, I didn't ask how I'm supposed to pay for the rates and taxes. Remember, in my mind, I was just thinking that the levies are going to cover that. I then learned that I have to back pay my rates and taxes. Since my apartment was a small apartment, it wasn't a lot of money. But I can imagine if you own a big house. But obviously when you own a big house, you'll be better informed than me, who was buying a property for the first time. So that's one of the mistakes that I made when I bought the property. After a year, I received an account from the city council for my rates and taxes. It takes around 3 months for property to register, so it actually made room for me to then to give my then landlord a notice that I'll be moving out. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and let's join each other in the next video. Goodbye.